everybody. Welcome to Talking Fitchburg on this Tuesday, January 18th, 2022. Jay Craw's here, ABAM at undisclosed location today, somewhere across the pond. Not telling you what pond, though. You'll just have to figure it out from there. It's a chilly one out there, and we're just going to let that freeze off to the side. Let's get that out of the back of your mind, and let's warm you up with some great interviews today. Yeah, we've got some big ones for you. In case you were wondering how your taxes break down, we've got Misty Dodge here to talk about that. Plus, we have a council recap for you. We'll get you the latest on what happened at the last Common Council meeting. So let's jump into the headlines. And we only have time for one, but it's an important one today. And it's watching out for phony COVID testing sites. That's right. We want to make sure that you understand that COVID-19 testing options in your area are not scams. Only get tested at authorized testing sites or health centers. Watch out for lookalike websites. Be wary of unsolicited callers and messages, and read the fine print of any documentation that you're asked to sign. So important when you are looking for testing sites and purchasing test kits for at home. All right, those are our headlines. Coming up next, we're doing that tax breakdown with Misty Dodge next right here on TF.
Hey, boss. Okay.
Said I'm fine.
Me to bed, see you in the morning with the frosted Superman, but it wasn't on it, and we lost it. In my head, in my head, in my head. Where you at? Underlay in my head.
Hey, son.
Hey, Bob.
You know you can talk to me.
Yeah.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us.
Ready?
That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu. And especially this year, no one has time to get sick. Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today for her annual property tax update. It's Misty Dodge, your finance director for the city of Fitchburg. Misty, welcome back to the show. How are you doing today?
Doing good. Thanks for having me, Jeremy.
Thank you for being back on here and going through this. I may now recognizing how I understand how this form works. Kidding. I'm a homeowner. I've got some knowledge. She really knows that I need help all the way. So, but that's besides the point. Misty, first and foremost, tax bills go out.
They went out Friday. So Friday, December 10th was when they were mailed. My guess is they'll get mailed over the weekend, and they probably will hit mailboxes either Monday or Tuesday.
And if somebody thinks they didn't get it, what can they do? So they're watching this, they're like, wait, what?
Yeah. So all of the tax bills are available on Access Stain. It's the website sponsored through the county. You can look up your property by your name, by your address, or your key number if you have it. And then it'll show you all of the information for your property. And there's a link to get the tax bill. So you'll be able to get one through there as well.
Perfect. And what we're going to do on this interview is we're going to talk specifically about what is on your tax bill and clarify the numbers for you, help you understand it a little bit better. And really, I don't see too many changes, but I may be talking out of line. So we'll find out together here what's going on. But first, starting at number one, and I love how you label this for us each and every year. It gives me an easy way to direct us through this. So what do we got at the top?
Yeah, so number one is your bill number. So this bill number does change every year. This bill number is important. If you pay through your bank with an online payment, we'll want to know what that bill number is. If you write a check, it's also helpful for us as a double check to put that bill number in the memo line of the check. But again, it changes every year. So make sure you're looking for the right one.
Gotcha. Well, that'd be a good way to make sure you got the right tax bill here, certainly. All right, number two is looking at the total assessed value.
Yeah, so number two, number three, and number four are actually all related. So number two is your property's assessed value. 310,000 is actually the average home's assessed value. So I thought this was a great bill to talk about today. And then that value is set by the city assessor. It was a maintenance assessment year this year. So for most bills, that value stayed the same from last year to this year. Exceptions being if there was an error that was discovered or done through board of review, if you added something to your property, if it was a new property, something like that, then obviously that amount would change. But if everything with your property was the exact same as last year, for the this assessed value should be the same. What's different though is that estimated fair market value. We all know the market has changed in the last year, even if we haven't changed our assessments. So the state looks at our total assessed value and our total equalized value, and it creates this ratio. That's box number 3. So usually, because we would do a reval every year, but this year we didn't. So usually we'd be right around 100%. This year we're at that 96%. So we're lagging the market a little bit now, but we'll true that back up. And it's still uniform across all of the properties. So then to get to that estimated fair market value, we take your assessed value divided by that assessment ratio to get the estimated fair market value. So 2 divided by 3 equals number 4.
Fantastic. Moving on to box number 5, net assessed value rate.
Yeah, so that assessed value is the value that we use to calculate the taxes for each property. And so we take that assessed value, divide it by 1,000, and multiply it by the assessed value tax rate. So for this year, and this is a Madison school district bill, so there'll be nuances or differences depending on which school district your property is in. But for the Madison school district, the overall tax rate was $21.96 per $1,000 of assessed value. So that's what that box 5 is.
All right, perfect. Moving down then to number 6, and this gets interesting.
Yeah, so number 6 isn't down there. So past years, I have talked about how there was a line for the state of Wisconsin that was at 0. It's been at 0 for the past 4 or 5 years. They finally just took that 0 line off. So this year, number 6 isn't on there anymore.
Trick question on Jeremy's part. All right, 7 and 8, moving right along. First dollar credit and lottery and gaming credit.
Yeah, actually, I'd like to back up for a moment. So the city of Fitchburg, you'll see, even though the state's not on here, there's still Dane County, city of Fitchburg, Madison School District, and the Tech College. And so you can see in that column where there's the purple bar that says about 1/3, the city of Fitchburg's piece of the tax bill that we collect, that the city of Fitchburg uses for our operations, is actually only about 1/3 of the total tax bill. And then the next purple bar, so the total tax bill, the 680616, to get to that, that's what we talked about earlier, where it's the assessed value number 2 times the rate number 5 to get to that total tax bill. So then once we know what your taxes are, there are 2 credits that most residential properties will have. The first one is number 7, which is the first dollar credit. That credit is applied automatically to any property that has improvements. So that one, if you're eligible, you will just get it. Number 8, however, people need to watch their bills for this one. So the lottery credit only applies if it was your primary residence as of the first of the year. So if your property was your primary residence as of January 1st, 2021, and that amount there is blank, make sure you reach out to the city. We will help get you the form that you need to fill out in order to get that lottery credit. And it's quite a bit of a hike this year. So last year, you can see in the Madison School District, it was just shy of $200. This year, it's over $300. And with all of the new properties that are being built, the new homes, I hope that everybody looks at their bill and make sure that if you're eligible, you have that lottery credit.
Yeah, it's easy money. That's the way I like to call it, but I know you would never call it that. But we'll move on to box number 9 on the net property tax and trash pickup.
Yeah, so in that section there is where all of the special assessments and special charges will be located. So this property has trash pickup charge. So all residential single family and duplexes will have that trash pickup amount. It's $215 this year. It was $209 last year. So it is a bit of an increase, but reasonable based on the additional costs that we're incurring. Other things that might show up in that box would be if you have any special assessments for curb and gutter or streets or water, additional services that were in there. Also, if there's delinquent utilities, those amounts will show up in that box.
And then that does that total out there at the bottom?
It does, yep.
Fantastic. All right, moving over to number 10 and number 11. Very important information here.
Yeah, so a lot of people choose to pay their property tax bill by the end of the calendar year for income tax purposes. But as far as the property tax bill is concerned, it's not due until January 31st. And people have the choice to pay it either in full by January 31st or at least the minimum first installment amount. Those amounts would all come to the city of Fitchburg through January 31st. Any payments after that would go to the county instead. And I will note that we do accept postmarks for 5 days. So if you want to pay by December 31st, we will accept that postmark. We will, as a courtesy, backdate it to 2021, even though, again, it's not due at that point. Or if we get mail in that 5 days after, or I guess any mail that we receive after January 31st, we forward that on to the county and they would apply it. If it was postmarked January 31st, they will make sure it's shown as timely. But the address for the county is on the bill too.
Fantastic. Good information to know. Finally, moving down to box number 12 on this page, and it says the taxing jurisdiction. Explain what that means.
So all of our school districts at this point have a referendum that is a non-recurring or is a recurring referendum. So this bill, again, is a Madison School District bill. This information here in this part is relatively new, but I like it because it shows the different non-recurring or non-perpetuity referendums that were approved, and then how much of your specific bill goes to pay that referendum and when that ends. So to look for the first one, so the city of Fitchburg's total portion of the first referendum passed by the Madison School District that will end at some point is that 227 amount. And the amount that this particular bill paid towards that is that $40. And then you can see the same amount for the second referendum that would be reported for that school district. And again, these are only for referendums that will end at some point. So if a referendum was approved, say for staffing, and it's perpetual, it will always be there, that information won't show up here. These are just the ones that are going to end.
Awesome. And that shows that that end there does show the year that it will finish out at. All right, bottom page here of this, we have it broken down into two, and this is probably the part that you deliver if I was gonna guess, but check 13, check for billing address change.
Yeah, so this is the stub that's shown at the bottom of the bill. If you're mailing your bill in or if you're paying in person, we'd really appreciate if you included that stub. It's just another way for us to make sure we apply the payment to the appropriate parcel. I wanted to point out number 13 though. So if you do have a billing address change, that is something the city can take care of for you. So you'll check that box and then note what your new billing address is. So this would apply if you're moving or if you temporarily go to somewhere warm, for example, and want your bill to be mailed there instead of your place in Wisconsin. Billing addresses we can change. If you want to change your owner, it's like it's a different name or any of those types of things, that actually has to go through the county, through the Register of Deeds, but the billing address we can change.
All right. Well, that was easy, right? Not too much trouble per se. If you're still wondering, like, okay, this was a lot of information thrown at you. I bet you there's a place, and Misty Dodge has a lot of tricks up her sleeves. I bet you there's a place you can find more information on this. How can we find that on the website?
Yes, so this is the city's website. There's actually a quick link down here towards the bottom for the property tax frequently asked questions. We try to put out all of our information on the website so people can have access to it. Of course, feel free to give us a call or email us, and we're happy to answer questions that way too. We just want to make sure as much information is available to people as possible. So this is the city's tax page. It talks about a variety of different things. It does have that lottery credit form. So if you notice your bill qualifies, but it doesn't have the lottery credit, here's the form that you'll need to fill out. And it talks about all the same stuff that we talked about before, and that's included on our insert. And actually, every property tax bill will get a tax insert too, the same one we send out every year. And here's a link to it on the form as well, if you'd like to see it.
Yeah, it's an easy to use form and answers a lot of the good questions that you might have. And we'll have a separate interview that actually goes through a form that's shipped out with the tax bill and is on the website to help you navigate that. Misty, thank you so much for your time going through this. We appreciate it as always. We'll check back in with you soon.
Thank you so much.
You bet. We'll take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.
Brandon met a girl on a dating app. He finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving.
She must be a keeper.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu.
We don't have time for delays.
We don't have time for spills.
Next.
We don't have time for setbacks. Let's be real.
Getting the flu shot
Helps you fight the flu.
Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today from my favorite place, the Fitchburg Star, our all-star, and on the naughty list, Kimberly. How are you doing?
Well, I was gonna say, is this the Fitchburg Star? Because don't tell anyone. This is West Madison. So
Hey, well, turn around and look behind you. That looks pretty starish and on the naughty list.
Oh, that's true.
And is
Well,
that a picture of Favre in the background?
we
What
got a
are you
picture of
doing?
Favre. We got a picture of Bart. And we got a picture of our boy Aaron Rodgers. So I got 3
Oh,
stars
my
back there. So
Oh my goodness. Jeep.
It's
Are
my
you joining? You're joining the sports department, aren't you?
no, it's because my significant other is too lazy to put it up.
We'll leave
And
it.
it's on the record.
It's on the record. We're gonna leave that alone and transition into our first update of the year. We'll start with the last council meeting and 2 developments coming up here. What do you have for information on that?
Yeah, so no one in Fitchburg is unaware that development is happening. Pretty much anywhere you drive, you can see development happening. But there's going to be some more. And so these 2 developments are certainly not through the development process yet, but what people can look forward to seeing going up in the next couple of months, years here are 2 developments. One is by McGaw Park, and that is going to hold the St. Ambrose Academy School. They've been searching for a couple of years now for where they're going to build something of their own after they were told that the place that they were leasing space from actually wanted to take it back. So they were unsuccessful in Fitchburg or unsuccessful in Verona. So now they've come to Fitchburg. And so that development is moving forward. And then there's housing that's going to be around it. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, or planning can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's about 400 units of housing that will go into that development around St. Ambrose. And that'll happen over the next couple of years. But so people can expect that. And then people can also expect a senior assisted living / primary care facility to be put up near McKee Farms Park. So that will probably be the more visible one. Both McGaw Park and McKee Park are both pretty heavily used, but since one is a little bit more often used for things like concerts and that kind of stuff, that project will be a little bit more visible. So, but those are just things that you can look forward to. Those processes through the Plan Commission and through council are not done, but they inch forward a little bit this week. So
there you have it. And certainly you can go back and check that meeting out in the past Plan Commission meetings if you want to learn more about those projects. We had a special COW meeting, committee of the whole, discussing the ARPA funding. And you will now break it down piece by piece, right?
I will not.
Kidding. Misty Dodge, our finance
Misty
director.
in here.
Yeah.
Misty's the expert, and I'm going to leave that to her. But some of the ideas that alders were bringing up to the mayor during this meeting. So how this meeting went down is Misty gave a pretty good overview of what you can use the American Rescue Plan funds for, which is federal funds that came out of the stimulus in 2021. We also have a tax district closure that will also provide some funds as well. So that comes out to about $6 million in revenue. And so some of the ideas that alders were kind of throwing out at the mayor include establishing a tree nursery, having a violence disruptor team, improvements to the parks, and then stormwater projects, which during the budget process got taken out of the budget in order to fit other initiatives and staff in. So the mayor should have his proposal by the end of the month here. I'm thinking it's next week, but I don't want to lock him into that with my reporting, but so that we can expect that this month. It's going to look a little bit like a budget process, but it's not going to be a budget process. So what it basically does, it gives staff the roadmap to what the alder's priorities are and what projects they would like for them to look into. You will eventually see those projects though on a future CIP or capital improvement plan or in the budget. So this is certainly just the beginning, not the end. And once they put something into writing does not mean that they're going to do it. It's just outlining priorities.
And these are funds that you actually have to use. So they can't,
Yes.
the city can't store the funds or put them away for a rainy
Correct.
day. It's a
Correct.
use it. I don't think it's a use it or lose it, but it's a use it situation for certain.
It is a little bit where they have to have contracts and bids signed for the money if they're doing projects by 2024. And then you would have to use that money that was, contracted or bidded out by 2026. So it is a little bit of use it or lose it. But the way the rules are written, it's pretty easy to use it for a lot of things. So I don't think the city should have a problem finding $6 million to spend. So.
Yep. It's being done all over the state and United States. So it's it's not something that's not just happening here. So we'll keep you up to date on those projects. All right, finally, COVID, it's in the air, it's everywhere, and I'm not saying that just to be funny, but it definitely, we have seen numbers increase. We almost talk about it every single day on Talking Fitchburg, Kimberly, and the numbers are really high in Fitchburg and Verona. Tell us what you know.
Yeah, so I'm going to turn into a little bit of a mother right now. I know that everyone is sick and tired of hearing about COVID, sick and tired of hearing about the Omicron variant in general, but it's important to know that the pandemic is not over, and especially knowing what the Fitchburg area numbers are so that you can make smart decisions for what is right for you and your family. So the numbers I'm about to rattle off are only numbers that have been reported through the State Department of Health Services and Dane County Public Health. These numbers don't include a rapid test that was only taken at home and then didn't make it into the state data. This doesn't include cases where someone said, oh, well, my family members got COVID, so I guess I must have it too, and then never got tested. But so for full transparency, Jeremy and I are talking here at 1 o'clock on Friday. And so I don't have Thursday's numbers yet because they will arrive in a little less than an hour. But so from Monday to Wednesday this week, we had 226 new cases of COVID just in City of Fitchburg residents alone, and 92 of those cases came from Wednesday. So it is definitely here. It is definitely there's a chance you're going to get exposed. So it's time to make smart decisions. So where the school districts are concerned, they're not seeing a whole lot of transmission in the schools, but winter breaks certainly contributed to a lot of cases. In last week's time, VASD Verona saw half of its student cases that were reported to be positive. Those occurred between January 3rd and January 7th. In that same time frame, Oregon saw a fourth of its cases diagnosed in that time as well. So I sound really doom and gloom right now, but some positives from today and this data on Friday. We have seen a 13-person decrease in who are hospitalized in our local hospitals, which is good. We don't know if it'll stay that way, but seeing decreases means that less strain on hospital staff. And then the average daily number of cases in Dane County has decreased today for the first time in over a month. Whether it stays that way is left to be seen, but that's still good news. I figured out I was going to give you a bunch of bad news. I might as well supplement it with some good news too. And I'll wrap this up here by saying that you can get free COVID-19 testing at the Fitchburg Family Pharmacy. Bright Dental just opened up free COVID testing, and there is no appointment necessary. And Public Health Madison-Dane County, while you do have to schedule an appointment because they are no longer a federal site, they now have 1,000 appointments available, and they have just reopened the Alliant Energy Center testing. It's much smaller than it was before because it's now not a federal site and they're not getting federal funds to run it. But that is now another option for people as well. So
that is a walk-up service too. It's not a drive-through service, just so you know. So stay safe on that. I'll also throw out there too, we got another one in called Django DX at 2997 Yarmouth Greenway Drive here in Fitchburg. So that one also, you do not need an appointment. So we're really lucky, as I've been saying on Talking Fitchburg, and we're lucky to have you. Although you can't say positive, like I've got some positive news after talking about positive cases. That just doesn't work.
That's true.
I'm calling you out. I am calling you out on that one.
My last piece of advice though is if you do take an at-home test and it shows that you are positive, please go get a PCR test where your results are then recorded in state data, because if you do end up having long-term COVID effects and would need to register for something like disability as a result, it's really important to have that paper trail so that insurance knows that yes, you actually had COVID. So it's really important, even though you know you have COVID and you took an at-home test and you're already like, I don't want to go sit in a line when I'm not feeling good. It is really important to have a paper trail and show that you tested positive for it, because it might be what allows you to get disability claims in the future. So that's my other piece.
You are being a mom. I like it.
Also, eat your vegetables and and don't cross the street without looking both ways. So
okay, Mom, you're overdoing it. Okay, jeez. All right, Kimberly, if people want to learn more or keep up on exactly what you're working on for stories, where can we learn and find more?
Oh, absolutely. You can find us on fitchburgstar.com. To go along with the big long rant I had about COVID a minute ago, we do update COVID numbers every Tuesday at noon. So if you're checking Facebook or you're checking Twitter, or you just remember there's something that clicks at noon on Tuesday, you're like, I wonder if I should go check the Fitchburg Star website. We'll have updated COVID numbers for you there too, plus other stories about what's happening around Fitchburg. So that's fitchburgstar.com. And if you have a bookmark to our old website, don't go to it. It'll take you nowhere.
All right, going nowhere is no, just kidding. I'm going to stop right there and say thank you so much for your help, Kimberly. Absolutely. Appreciate it. Happy New Year to you, and we look forward to talking to you next month.
Absolutely.
Or probably not even a month. It'll be a few weeks.
What about 2 weeks from now?
Surprise. We have something to talk about right after we get off here. So bummer for you. No, just kidding. We'll see in a few weeks. All right. Kimberly, like I said, check out the Fitchburg Star's website and their social media to stay up on the latest in Fitchburg news. Take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be flood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day. I have no time for this. So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantori here. I stay safe in dangerous weather by planning ahead. You can stay safe too with a few easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family, and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe. Start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
All right, there you have it. Thank you to Kimberly from the Fitchburg Star. Check out their website for updates and more. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow.